So I've used several different methods to take down trees before, but this week was pretty unique. I actually used a thunderstorm to take down this dead ash tree. I want to tell you guys why and get up close and show you what was going on with this tree and why I decided to take it down this way. So I think the last time I saw any life in this tree was about 4 years ago. And anytime you're dealing with a dead standing tree, you're asking for trouble. But this one was particularly troublesome because here, probably 5.5 feet in the air, 6 feet in the air, it was cracking apart. And not just cracking this way, but it's actually cracking vertically. And it even has a spot here where it had been damaged in the past. It was trying to heal over, so yet another source for there to be some unknown rot, kind of a variable in that way where you're not sure quite what's going to happen. You can see some of these vertical splits here were already working their way down below. Looking at the other piece over here, you can see these cracks were working their way up. I think the last storm had put a few extra of these. It's just not something I wanted out here. It's a little too close to where the kids play, and you know, I just don't want to deal with that. Plus it was going to land in my neighbor's yard. I wanted to get rid of it in a time that I could clean it up pretty effectively, and that's what I'll be doing here this weekend. But just real nasty looking stuff, not very much quality stuff on the inside here. A lot of this may only be like campfire worthy at best. The trunk is in very bad shape. So when I saw on the radar we had a storm coming with potentially 75-mile-per-hour winds, it was about a half hour out. Got the chainsaw ready and decided to come out here and just add to where it had already been cracking and splitting, and added a pretty good cut in here. But of course I was quite nervous dealing with this at any point in time, but not needing to be here whenever it was going to finally fall, or to get that last little bit cut, but to let the wind do the rest of the work, and not needing to cut into the tree quite so far because I knew that the wind could compensate for any I didn't cut out. It actually seemed like about the safest time I could do it. So I cut into it a little bit more than halfway and got through some of that better heartwood in the middle there. So about 5 or 10 minutes after I made the cut, I could hear the wind starting to come in and all the trees swaying, and I heard this one crack. Even on the first big gust of wind, I heard the first crack, and it wasn't but another gust or two after that, and just this whole thing went down. Kind of just all these branches just blew off the top here and just kind of exploded into smithereens. Pretty satisfying to see it finally come down, and come down in a way that wasn't going to harm anybody. But you can see this thing just chunked apart, just pieces everywhere. Not great looking stuff at this point. When it can just bust apart like this, you can see the rot in there. Just excited to have this thing finally down and get this thing tidied up. Yeah, I just figured I'd share that. If you guys are ever dealing with a tree like this, especially when it's not near your house, it's not, you know, gonna hit anything else that you care about. All the weight on this one was pointing into this open space between our two properties. Wasn't a big deal as far as that's concerned. He knew it was going to come down one of these days anyway. No one was outside playing. We knew we could just allow the storm to really just finish this off for us. So if you're in that situation and you can do it, you know, that could be a good idea. If it were further from the house, I wouldn't have even touched it. I would have just waited for it to come down one day, I think. But really feel much safer now that it is down. Don't have to even think about it anymore. So while most of this is going to firewood, and I probably won't mill much of it up, if you guys want to see what it looks like to take an old ash tree like this that's kind of dead and decayed, the one that was actually growing right here next to the wood sheds, I went ahead and threw that through the mill. I got several videos on that you can check out in this playlist here next. Thanks for watching.